thing I ask of you. Let me be the one that you back that ass to. Go from Malibu to Paris. Yeah, I had a bitch, but she ain't as bad as you. So hit me up when you passing through. I'll give you something big enough to turn your ass into. Swag on even when you dress casual. I mean, it's almost unbearable. In 100 years, not dare would I pull a far side, let you pass it by. Not like your last guy. He do square for you. He don't back. He don't grab your hair like I do. So I just watch and wait for you to salute, but you didn't pick. Not many women can refuse this pimpin'. I'm a nice guy, but don't get it if you get with me. This is a verse from the #1 song of the top 100 songs, Blurred Lines by Robin Thicke. In the music video, Robin Thicke, Pharrell Williams, and T.I. are fully clothed while 3 women prance around topless wearing a new thong and high heels. The message of the song is the blurred lines of women playing coy when they really want to have sex. This is a perfect example of the sexual objectification of women, which is a term used when a person is treated or represented as a sex object only for another person's sexual pleasure, according to Dr. Caroline Hellman in her article, Sexual Objectification, What Is It? Every day we are bombarded in the media with the message that women are just sex objects and nothing more. I want to persuade you that we need to take a stand and stop buying into products that promote sex appeal. We need to stop watching television shows that sexualize women, and we need to stop listening to musical artists that exploit women. When we open up the magazine, what do we see? Advertisements. Advertisements can be broken down into 2 categories. The first category is normally for young girls and women, and then for older women. Most magazines have a company that looks through a man's perspective when they want to sell their products. And most companies use sex appeal if they want to sell large quantities of their products. We can find advertisements in magazines and on billboards across America. Jennifer Nelson states in her book, Airbrush Nation, The Lore and Loathing of Women's Magazines, that magazines need advertisers to stay afloat and advertisers need magazines to sell their products. The main target for ads are either young girls and women or older women. We do find ads directed towards men, however, the models in the ads are still women. The category that are ads for young girls and women normally promote products that are beauty products, underwear, and clothing. The model promoting the products is very young, thin, and beautiful. We either see a close-up part of the model's body or a full figure of the body. Sometimes the model is put into sexy positions and we wonder what does this have to do with the product. Clearly the message is that you need to be young, thin, and beautiful to be wanted, and you can achieve that look by using our product. With the message constantly being thrown at young girls and women, mental health issues are expected. When teenagers and young women open up magazines, they are bombarded with images of models with flawless skin, large breasts, a perfect waist-to-hip ratio, and long hair. I would like to use a quote found in the book Bossy Pants by the comedian Tina Fey. Every girl is expected to have Caucasian blue eyes, full Spanish lips, a classic button nose, hairless Asian skin with a California tan, a Jamaican dance hall ass, long Swedish legs, small Japanese feet, the abs of a lesbian gym owner, the hips of a 9-year-old boy, the arms of Michelle Obama, and doll tits. The person closest to actually achieving this look is Kim Kardashian, who, as we know, was created by Russian scientists to sabotage our athletes. These expectations are created by men for their sexual pleasure. When young girls do not feel like they measure up to these expectations, they begin self-objectifying. Psychologists Fredrickson and Roberts believe that women internalize others' views and begin to self-evaluate solely based on the appearance. Exposure to images of too thin, too perfect airbrush models cause young girls to have a loss of self-esteem, depression, and the development of unhealthy eating habits, stated by Jennifer Nelson in her book Airbrush Nation. Sexual objectification is likely to contribute to mental health problems, according to research conducted by Fredrickson and Roberts. The second category ads are for older women. The products being sold are anti-aging skin creams, anti-gray hair care, and hormone replacements. The models are usually actresses that are in their late 30s trying to hold on to youth. Clearly the message is, youth is the essential elixir of beauty, and it's perfectly acceptable to take whatever measures are necessary to stop aging, states Jennifer Nelson in her book Airbrush Nation. When an older woman opens up a magazine, she rarely sees a model within her age group. Even in magazines like Good Housekeeping, Women's Day, and O Magazine, they only have images of women without wrinkles. Jennifer Nelson states that an analysis of editorials and advertising images revealed that despite demographics of older readers as high as 23%, fashion magazines portray women over 40 sparingly. Every cream and lotion now has the word anti-aging on it, because God forbid we let nature take its natural course. A quote from the book Sexy Feminism, A Girl's Guide to Love, Success, and Style by Jennifer Armstrong. Some older women may be lucky enough to afford cosmetic surgery. This can range from a facelift to Botox in different parts of the body. In the book Sexy Feminism, A Girl's Guide to Love, Success, and Style, notes that Duke University did a study that says that getting Botox may actually take away from a woman's ability to feel emotions. By restricting facial expressions, you lose the natural youthful exuberance that actually makes you feel younger. Now that we've discussed about advertisements, let's move on and talk about television. When we turn on TV, what do we see? Television shows that stereotype and sexualize women. Turn on to primetime television on any weekday, and you can see women playing basically the same role over and over again. On most sitcoms that depict an American family, there is normally a large to overweight husband with a very slender, gorgeous wife. If you can't think of a few, here's a good list. Family Guy, The Simpsons, King of Queens, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, According to Jim, and The Sopranos. Now, most of these women are no longer playing the June Cleaver role. Most of them do have jobs, but they are not high-ranking jobs like their husband on the show. We also see women being over-sexualized in tons of television shows, which sends the wrong message. Why do we keep having television shows that portray overweight husbands with gorgeous wives? Doesn't it look awkward seeing a very overweight husband with a very thin wife? In reality, we don't see a lot of average to below average men with very attractive women. That does not mean it cannot happen or shouldn't happen, but it's not typical. It's a family tradition that spouses are ill-matched look-wise, states Matt Feeney in his article Beauty and the Beast, Why Are Fat Husbands Paired with Great-Looking Wives? Stacey L. Smith, a sociologist, conducted a study on the speaking role of men and women in primetime television shows, children's shows, and family movies. After analyzing 11,927 speaking roles, the results showed that 44.3% of the women had full-paying jobs and 54.5% of the males were employed. Women were shown wearing sexy clothes or showing skin. According to the Huffington Post article, women in the media, female TV and film characters still sidelined and sexualized. Women are overly sexualized in television shows, from soap operas to reality shows. We can find women wearing very revealing clothing, prancing around to get men's attention. With all this overly sexualization of women in television shows, young girls and women are going to mock this behavior. When people witness this sexualization over and over again, it's going to create a mirror effect. Dr. Drew Pinsky states in his book, The Mirror Effect, How Celebrity Narcissism is Seducing America, that the viewer develops a preoccupation with these images to the point that the behavior begins to be seen as normal and even desirable. Dr. Drew also mentions that adolescents who absorb cultural messages are particularly vulnerable to this mirror effect. Now that we've discussed television, let's hear about music. Turn on the radio and what do you hear? Misogyny lyrics. Country, rock, rap, and pop music are all genres that exploit women. Of course, we would expect rap and pop music to contain lyrics that exploit women, but country music, yep. If you listen closely, you can hear lyrics like, when I first saw that bikini top on her, she was popping right out of the South Georgia water, thought, oh good Lord. She had them long tan legs, or it's so hard not to stare at that honky-tonk badonky-donk, keeping perfect rhythm, it's so hard not to stare. We are so used to hearing lyrics that focus on a lady's body parts or sexual acts of doing women that it's become okay. It is not okay to talk about a woman's butt and how it turns you on. It is not okay to talk about the first time seeing bikini top on a woman because obviously you're focusing right on her breast. It is not okay to sing a song about a woman's legs and how tan they look or how great they look in Daisy Dukes and boots. Misnogamy in lyrics and music is not new, but 2013 had introduced a new kind of misnogamy, a deliberate and task-oriented degradation and objectification of women that's far more disturbing than the casual inherent misnogamy of generations past. According to Andrea Warner in her blog post, Misnogamy Makes a Comeback, Kanye, Robin Thicke, and Degrading Women for the website CBC Music. The men that write these types of songs aren't older men trying to keep women in a box, so to speak. They are young men raised by strong mothers. Andrea Warner says this in her blog post that's very true. These are not old men who are caught up in old ways of thinking. These are younger men who were, more often than not, raised within feminism and to respect women, but who still feel like it's their right to degrade and debase them. We turn on, listen to, and buy into media that treat women only as sex objects. So the question of the hour is, how do we stop it? We, the consumers of products, viewers of television, and listeners of music, need to stand up and demand a change in the way the media depicts women. We have heard how the classic woman should look, and when we look at the women around us, no one falls into this category created by men. We need to show a young girl that treating their body only as a sex object is not okay because it can lead to mental health issues. We need to stop watching television shows that promote over-sexualized women. We need to tell musical artists that their lyrics that degrade women need to stop. You can get involved by stop buying into products that sell sex. You can write to production companies saying that we need to see a variety of women in primetime television shows, and you can tweet musical artists telling them to stop degrading women in their music. We are strong, gorgeous women who are not to be stared and shared.